Hello everyone and welcome back to the Public Eye podcast series, a 6-part series of podcasts brought to you by Granite Exchange in Newry. Once again, I'm delighted to be your host, Sarah Travers. And for those of you who have tuned in before, you will know that in this series, I speak with local entrepreneurs and business owners to learn more about how their companies have come to be, to gain insight into their growth, and crucially find out how they continue to innovate. So wherever you get your podcasts from, remember to keep an eye out for new episodes and subscribe to stay up to date. Well, today I'm really pleased to welcome Rashida, founder of Rashida Keenan Photography. Rashida, I think you're the first photographer we've had in the podcast studio.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
I'm delighted to be here.
Good. Well, we've so much to talk about. Before we begin, I'm going to give a little bit of background on you and your business, Rashida. Well, Rashida Keenan is a multi-award-winning photographer, best known for her wedding, portrait and lifestyle photography. She lives with her husband, 4 young children and, it says, several family pets in a small village located on the border between Northern and Southern Ireland. Rashida has received many awards throughout her career, as we said, including Irish Professional Photographer of the Year, Northern Irish Portrait Photographer of the Year, Northern Irish Children Photographer of the Year and Northern Irish Baby Photographer of the Year 2020. Rashida, have you never heard of that? You know, never work with children or animals. You obviously do it well.
I do. I'm glutton for punishment. I like a challenge.
You do. And congratulations on
you.
all of your success so far, because I've been checking you out on the old social media, which obviously is hugely important to you and for marketing your business, but looking at what you do, you have a real talent. And that's clear, and that's why everybody wants you to take their wedding, to take their children, pick photographs. But let's start from the beginning and tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I am originally from Warrenpoint, so just down the road. The youngest of 7 children, was spoilt rotten.
Were you?
Growing up, I was. Had a very happy childhood. It was a busy house.
I can imagine.
There was always somebody coming or going. There was always something happening at home. So grew up in Warrenpoint. Have always had an interest in photography. Like some of my earliest memories was saving up my pocket money and buying disposable cameras. And then the wait for getting the prints developed, I used to be so excited.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
At the chemist?
Yeah, going down to collect the prints and being so excited to see what was on that film. So there are some of my earliest memories. So photography, I've always had an interest in it, even from a very young age, without even knowing that I wanted to be a photographer. There was always something there. And I suppose one of the defining moments in my life for me, and it kind of helped shape the future, was my mother got sick when I was 17. And I was studying for my A-levels at the Sacred Heart, and she passed away 11 weeks later.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
So that was a big thing for me. But anyhow, at the time, I remember telling her, I think I'm going to go and study photography. And typical Irish mother, she says to me, "Oh no, you're not going to do that."
Oh my, no. What were you going to do then?
You're going to do law.
Oh, of course, Mummy. Oh.
So took her advice then. Well, I didn't do law, but she kind of felt at the time, there's not many people can make a career and a good career out of photography. That's what she thought at that time. So back then I didn't really know what to do. I kind of looked at other options, and then with her getting sick, I think I was kind of heavily influenced by that, and I went down the route of healthcare.
Did you?
So I did, yeah. I went off to university and I did a degree in occupational therapy and worked as an occupational therapist for 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
So
I hadn't read that in your backstory. That is incredible. So that obviously had a massive impact, I'm sure, on you and your family, and massive void and loss, and for something to happen so shockingly quickly as well.
Exactly, yes. So and again, I think for me, It just helps me understand and realise the importance of photography and the importance of memories. Because like I have one portrait of me and my mummy, just one. There's other photographs, but there's other people in them. So I have one portrait of me and her, and it is like my prize possession. So I found my way back to photography after I had my own children. The importance of memories and capturing memories started to come to the fore. And my husband bought me a second-hand camera for my 30th birthday. And my second child had just turned 1. So he bought me a camera, and it literally just, I fell in love straight away.
Right.
But
and then had you moved away from the occupational therapy?
No,
at this point?
I was still working as an
Right.
occupational therapist. But what I would say is I always knew in my heart that there was something else that I should have been doing. Honestly, every day I would come home from work and I would say to my husband, I'm not happy. I know that there is something else I need to be doing. I didn't know at the time it was photography. I had forgotten about photography. But I knew there was just something in me. I knew that OT wasn't for me. It wasn't making me happy, and I knew that there was something else I needed to be doing. It was only then when I had the children and losing your mummy so young and realising that I wanted to give them and capture the memories for them that I didn't have. So started taking loads of photographs with my phone, as everybody does. They have a new baby and they're totally besotted, and that was me. Started to upload them to social media and my Facebook page at the time. And
so really you were self-taught?
At the start. At the very start, yeah. And then Ivan bought me the camera. And within 6 weeks, I had applied for a career break from occupational therapy. So he bought me the camera, and the week later, I enrolled in a night class in Uri Tech and did an NVQ in photography with the Southern Regional College, and at the same time enrolled in an online diploma. Goodness. And studied for the diploma. Applied for a career break. Everybody thought I was absolutely crazy. But I was so passionate about it. I just knew that this was for me.
And what, did it just make your heart sing? Did you think, this is it? This is it?
That moment of looking at the back of the camera and realising that you had captured something so perfect and something so special. It's really, really hard to describe. It's this lovely feeling. And you see, when you give them photographs and you give them memories to a client and you see their faces, or you see them cry,
you're going to make me cry.
And you see the happiness.
And
you can't put a price on that.
No.
You know, and it's only when people, I suppose for me, it's only when people are gone that you realise the importance of them photographs. Please don't cry.
I'm trying not to, but I think anybody listening to this right now, if they've lost anybody, they'll think of that photograph and they'll think, why did I not do more? And I often think that too, even about capturing stories and recordings and having the time capsules and the memories and all of those things you were going to do and you didn't. And I'll ask them about this and I'll record that. But that snapshot in time captures so much more, and it's a still picture, but it tells a story.
It tells a story. That's it. Absolutely.
So you, only because really your mummy had thought that maybe wasn't a career, there maybe weren't many female photographers in the business at that point.
There probably wasn't. I don't know. I had done quite well at school. I was doing well in my A-levels, and you know,
she wanted you to use them.
Yes. You know, I could do what I'm doing now without ever having a degree, you know, or yes, it probably helps in the life experience of going to college and that.
Of course it does.
And it was a lovely time being down there with my friends. And you know what? Maybe if I had went into it when I was younger, maybe it wouldn't have worked out the way things have worked. Maybe the life experience has helped.
Yeah.
You know, I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and this was the path that I...
Do you believe that?
I do.
Everything brings you to where you're meant to be?
I agree, yeah.
And
absolutely.
do you have goals and do you have plans, or are you much more kind of let's see what the day brings?
I'm very much such an easygoing, laid-back person. I'm very much, let's just take it one day at a time and see how things go.
Even going back when you were talking about when you were young and waiting to get those prints developed, photography has transformed. Digital photography and smartphones and everything have transformed photography to,
Yes.
it is. I mean, everybody's a photographer now in some shape or form. I know, having a broadcasting background as well and working a lot with camera, trained camera operators that have slaved for their craft, and then they get frustrated when somebody else comes along with a smartphone and videos, and you're uploading here, there, and everywhere. But actually, when you look at what you produce, you still have to have that. It's all about the framing, the moment, how much of it, because it looks so natural. It looks like you've just captured a moment in time, but yet it's so beautifully shot and arranged. How does that work? Is it all about the backdrop and then you get somebody to just be themselves, or how do you capture that moment, that look?
It's a combination between a lot of things, but definitely the most important thing for me when capturing beautiful photographs is light. Having the right light is absolutely crucial, and especially for just for an example, especially for wedding photography, people think they have this bright sunny day and it's amazing, we've got a great day, we're blessed. Bright sunny days aren't fantastic for photographs. You want a nice overcast day with nice soft light. So the nicest time to take photographs outside would be in the evening when the sun has come down, just before sunset, or in the morning just as the sun is rising, or on a nice kind of dullish day.
Really? So
Yeah.
any bride would be looking out of their window in the morning of their wedding and see clouds in the sky, and you're actually going, yes.
I'm going, fantastic. I'm not.
And they're thinking, no.
Yeah.
I put the Child of Prague out. It's going to rain.
No, the sun is fabulous for guests, and they have a great time. But it's harsh light, and then you get shadows where you don't want them, and it's just not very flattering.
No.
So light is crucial. Other things, like if I am photographing a family, yes, wardrobe is massive as well. Styling a photograph, knowing what colours is going to come to life in the photograph, it all kind of brings it all together. Staying away from the likes of, you want it timeless. You don't want your photographs to date. So staying away from the likes of like hooded tops or anything with massive logos or writing across them. That just is distracting. You want your clothes to help tell the story of that moment as well. So classic and timeless and simple, and nothing distracting. Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Granite Legal Services, a niche business and immigration law practice located in the heart of Newry City. Granite Legal Services provides legal advice to both individuals and companies alike across a wide range of industries, from employment, commercial or corporate law matters to immigration law. Granite Legal Services focuses on providing legally sound, practical advice to its clients. To get in touch, visit www.granitelegalservices.co.uk or contact 028 3026 2200. Now, in terms of weddings, obviously, over the pandemic, I mean, the wedding industry was decimated, and I would imagine you were a victim of that too.
I was, yeah. It was hard. I had a full diary, and literally it went from about 90% of the bookings cancelled.
Would weddings be the biggest source of income?
Weddings would. Family photography is equally as popular. I tend to do less of it because I'm busy with the weddings. But that's just at the minute, because obviously a lot of weddings are rescheduled, and now this year I'm doing double the bookings. Going forward, I definitely want to dedicate more time to my family work, more time to capturing those childhood moments as well. So once I get these weddings over me, and I'll kind of dedicate the time a wee bit better between the both.
Yeah, because I think in the past, I can imagine I would be a bit scared to do weddings because of the expectations around what you can actually do and achieve. And every bride wants to be the most beautiful bride on their wedding day. And that pressure too, in case they're not happy with the photos. How do you cope with that pressure?
That's a good question. I obviously feel that pressure too. I'd be lying if I was sitting here and telling you that I didn't feel that pressure. Every wedding photographer will feel that pressure at some point, and I suppose it's just about managing expectations as well. There's a lot that can happen on a wedding day that's outside of the photographer's control, and weather is a massive thing. Do you know what I mean? If we live in Ireland, if you get a day where it's flooding, you're not gonna. Your photographs aren't going to be the same as what they were if you got nice weather. Your venue has a big part to play in that as well. So if you have a venue with a nice backdrop inside, or if you have a venue where we have nowhere to go inside, and you get bad weather, that's going to impact on your photographs.
So having a plan B,
B, but also having a good chat with a couple. Like I tend to have a good chat with my couple before the day and just making them feel comfortable with me, and so that I feel comfortable with them and I know what they want from their photographs, and it's I know what they expect from me, and I'm telling them, basically letting them know what to expect from me in return.
And if there's a couple interested in perhaps knowing more, what building that relationship is absolutely key. And so many couples these days, you would do that, their engagement photos or getting to know their do you do like a test series or the announcement photos as well?
A lot of people will go for pre-wedding shoots. Not everybody. It does help. It helps kind of. It is very beneficial for a couple if they are anxious about getting their photographs taken, or if they're quite nervous about it. Some people will rock up on their wedding day, never having done a pre-wedding shoot, and they will be completely at ease in front of the camera. Everybody's different. So if a couple is anxious in any way or nervous, I would say yes, do a pre-wedding shoot, get to know me a wee bit better, and I'm 100% confident that once they do that, their wedding photographs will be better for it.
It's another expense, but actually it's useful to see.
It's useful.
Does she capture us? Does she get us?
Yes, absolutely.
Do we come across the way we want to come across?
Absolutely.
I'm sure, this is awful, that's the terribly sexist thing to say, but do you find, what's the groom like in all of these? Do the men love it, or do they like the modelling? Do they like?
Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them do, and some of the grooms are big into their photography. A lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
A lot of them just go along, and they want to please the bride because the bride wants nice photographs, and I can understand that too.
Some amazing photographs on your Instagram as well of a fabulous female couple that were getting married there.
Yes.
In Cathedral Quarter in Belfast.
Yes.
And you have some of the coolest images.
Yes.
I love it. So,
Yeah. That shoot you're actually talking about, that couple was already married. And that was a style shoot. That was a collaboration.
Right. I was going to say the clothes and everything. It was
that was the style shoot. No, it wasn't far, a million miles away from their actual styling in their own wedding day, but that was a great day.
They were gorgeous, and there's something just so cool about it all.
Yeah, it's the location, the couple, it all just came together.
When you do attend weddings now, sometimes you think, gosh, the photographs are such a massive part that you nearly have to disappear for a couple of hours, and your guests are going, I'm sure I was at a wedding. I wonder where the couple are.
Yeah, and I get that. That happened to me on my wedding day.
Oh.
I didn't get mingling with my guests.
Why?
But again, a lot of things. We got bad weather. We were running late. A lot of things can go wrong. But that is one thing. That is one thing about me when I am shooting a wedding. I'm so conscious of that because, yes, it's really important to capture these moments and to document the day. But it is more important to be present in the day and to enjoy the day. So for me, I'm doing them that long now, and I'm doing enough of them that there's very little that shocks me or surprises me.
And you also know what you're doing now. You know there's a bit of a formula. You know the shots you need to get, and you've agreed them beforehand. And do you know what I love as well is the other shots. It's the little ones, and then the older people. Did I see an amazing one of a woman having a fabulous time, and an older lady having a fabulous time, a guest standing on a chair at a wedding, and I thought, you've just captured
that's just
joy.
That's it. And it's those moments that really tell the story of the day. Those beautiful, candid moments of people of just enjoying themselves and being present.
Where you capture those funny faces, maybe somebody not having such a, some little person that's had enough now of the photos.
I know. But what I would say is, mostly everybody who books me will say to me, oh, we love your work and we love how natural it is. Yeah. Some of my work, yes, I do capture those candid moments, the ones that you're just speaking about there now. Not all of it is candid, and I don't think I would do my job my job as well as I am doing it now if I were to solely capture candid moments.
I get it. Working in TV all my life, there's some artifice that has to come in, and you're always grateful to the camera operator for making you retake it again. Some people have extremely expressive faces, don't they? And maybe it's the lovely relationships I think you capture, or the sense of what was going on at that particular time. It's beautiful.
And a lot of it, I suppose, is helping make the couple feel at ease, or the family feel at ease, and seeing them personalities shine through.
So business is good again now, thankfully. It's picked up.
Business is busy.
People are wanting to get married again, get on with things they've had to postpone. And
absolutely. I think they've just reached the stage now where they want to get married, and they've waited long enough. And some of my couples have postponed maybe 4 or 5 times. And that's disheartening for them, you know. People are they've had enough of it now. They want to get married.
Now you're incredibly busy as well. You've got 3 children.
I have 4 kids.
4 children.
I have 4 kids.
4 children. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, so I have 4 beautiful little kids. Isaac is 8 and Arabella's 6. Then Violet is 2 and Noah is coming 1.
Noah's your little one.
Noah's the baby.
My goodness me.
Yeah. So life is busy.
So you've been busy over this last year, and even though, I mean, the work disappeared for a while.
Yes.
Did it give you a little bit of a
It put
break?
Everything in perspective for me.
Right.
So it did. I really enjoyed, it sounds terrible saying that, but I enjoyed the quiet, and I enjoyed the little things in life.
And you've been capturing moments of your family as well.
Absolutely.
And they're beautiful. Take a look, everybody, if you get a chance, have a look at Rashida's Instagram page, because there are little snapshots of your beautiful family in lovely moments, quite staged in some cases, and then others completely wacky. There's one of your son just jumping off some chair in a living room with your husband sitting. It's just fabulous.
That was a while ago. Yeah, that was actually taken for an awards programme with the Irish Professional Photographers Association. So you'll find a mixture in there. But
and do you like doing that? Because I suppose so much of running your own business now is people want to know who you are and what you're like. And do you think that's what attracts customers to you, is when they look at the way you are in your own photographs?
Yeah, absolutely.
And who takes those?
Oh, me.
You set the timer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you just put it on a tripod and get everything set up perfect before you actually go into the shot, and
then involve children
and just let it unfold. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it with a timer on the camera, or you can do it with a remote.
Can you remember a location or a shoot that stands out above anything else? A personal favourite that was a joy to work on?
My personal favourite photograph that I have taken so far is actually a personal photograph, and it is a photograph that I took in my kitchen of Isaac and Arabella throwing flour across the kitchen island. Violet was about 3 weeks old. We had just moved into our new house, and it was one of the first photographs I'd taken in our home, and I knew the minute I seen it in the back of the camera that I had captured something really, really special.
You're going to have to show me that one.
It is an incredible photograph. It actually went on to win an award and helped me win Irish Professional Photographer of the Year. So yeah, it's probably my favourite photograph.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
And then just to have captured that as well for the children too, when they look back, they're
it's
going to
the
have
joy
such amazing photos to look
and
back at.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and when you capture that joy and you see their little expressions
And the abandon and the mess.
and the chaos and just the fun. Their faces are just so alive with expression.
How do you manage to juggle everything?
That's a good question. There's very little phases me.
You're very chilled.
Yeah, very chilled. Came from a big family. My home was always busy, and I suppose that has kind of stood by me now. My home now is always busy.
Mm-hmm. You like a little bit of chaos while you sit calmly in the middle. There are not many people like that. I take my hat off to you. Would you like to grow the family further?
My husband is definitely done.
But you're not.
No, I am.
Well, obviously, when you come from a big family, I think you always want what you had.
Yeah.
What you came from.
Yeah, that's
One of my best friends comes from a family of 8, and I just have one sister, and she used to always say, but I couldn't know. And she went on to have 4, but I think her husband as well said, right, that's it, stop at 4. It is gorgeous, though, to have everybody around you.
And it's lovely for them too, having their little friends.
Exactly.
Growing up with them,
Exactly. And they have them then, hopefully, for life.
Mm-hmm.
You've also recently started your own clothing brand, a vintage children's clothes.
That's correct. Yes.
Rashida and Noah designed. You picked one of your children's names.
That's it. Well, there is a story behind that as well, but it's not because he's any more special than the rest of them. They're all equally adored and loved, very much so. The clothing line, I suppose I have always been creative. I've always loved art, I've always loved design, and have always loved photography. And for me, this is just an extension of me being creative. With the pandemic and all the wedding cancellations, I found myself with this time, and I guess I kind of got to the stage that I started to think more about it. I had free time, whereas before I didn't have that. It was always something that I had wanted to do and never had the time to do it. Noah was a pandemic baby, so he was born last June, sorry, 4 babies.
It's very hard to remember. I forgot to.
So Noah was born last June, and it was a traumatic birth.
Right.
It was a really, really horrible time.
Oh dear.
But he was the light at the end of the tunnel, and I came through that. And for many ways, the pandemic was a blessing because I wouldn't have been fit to have shot my weddings last year.
Okay.
And then a few months after that, Noah himself got sick, and he developed sepsis, and we were very lucky with him.
Oh.
So that was confirmation for me. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and follow my dreams. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed for any of us.
No.
And that was the reason why I just thought that if both of us can survive that year, that together that we can kind of achieve anything.
That's gorgeous.
But yes, it's called Rashida and Noah, but it's a family business, and it symbolises all of us, not just me and Noah.
So what exactly are you doing with the clothing then?
It's vintage inspired. It's basically clothing that is kind of reminiscent of the clothes that my mother or your mother would have dressed you in. So you're talking... Oh, no, you're
you
not...
want to see I was born in the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yes, 1974 wasn't a good look for girls.
Really?
Let me tell you. I was actually a boy for many years with a bowl cut
my
and
sister was
tartan
too.
and mustard featured a lot.
I like mustard.
Okay, well there you go. It's not my colour.
I really like mustard. So you're talking classic clothes, traditional, vintage, a little bit retro.
Yep,
Yep,
that was me.
That's you. And these are clothes that I know we're going to photograph as well. So a lot of time I'll get asked, oh, what do we wear to a family shoot, or how do we style them? So have a look at Rashida Noah Designs.
Well, I'm thinking of the Duchess of Cambridge, and she always does that with her children. She dresses them in very traditional clothes.
Yeah, but these are different. So they are, and you'll find beautiful kind of like earthy tones. But they are timeless clothes. And it's not a fast or throwaway fashion brand. So these are quality pieces.
Right.
And that I would encourage my customers to kind of really love them and reuse them and pass them down between siblings.
The way we used to.
The way we used to. Yeah.
And where do you source the clothing from?
So basically I'm having them handmade in factories. I've chosen a couple of factories at the minute, and both of them are in Asia at the minute. I have looked into getting them manufactured in Europe. It's just a wee bit more tricky with Brexit and delays in manufacturing times. So at the minute they're being manufactured over there. The factories I have researched them thoroughly. So these are ethically made clothes. Workers are cared for and paid fairly, and treated extremely well. And audited annually. So that was a massive thing for me to know that this clothing was produced ethically.
And how's it going for you?
It has gone amazing.
Yeah.
So much better than I ever could have imagined.
Wow.
So far, like, we're in business 6 weeks. We have already broke even, which is just incredible. And we have sold to North and South America, Australia, Canada, France.
And I take it you're doing all the marketing yourself, the photographs?
Yes, that helps.
And the models?
And the models.
Yes. You don't have to pay them.
Yeah, so that's it's gone really well. What I would say is, yes, I'm doing the photographs and I'm obviously doing the designing, but my husband has been a massive help with that business. So he is doing a lot of the hard work, a lot of the parceling and a lot of the runs to the post office and stuff, and I really couldn't be doing it without his support.
That's wonderful
he's
to hear.
been fantastic.
I'm sure he's very proud of everything that you've achieved. Going back to the photography, just for those of us listening today, are there any tips that you could give us to elevate our photographs? Do you need to buy expensive equipment? Have you any hacks for us?
No, you don't need to buy expensive equipment. It obviously helps. Just hire me.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, what was I thinking? What a stupid question, really.
No, I'm only kidding. What I would say, especially if you're photographing your children, look for a nice light. That's a fundamental.
So the light on the face.
The light on the face. Natural light. Natural light is good. Yellow light or fluorescent light from light bulbs and stuff like that there isn't good. I tend to turn them off. And get down to their level. So there's no point in get down to the child and engage with the child and take the photograph from their level and try and get into their little world. Yeah. When I'm photographing my children, like, especially when you're working with toddlers, they have a very short attention span, so I tend to plan ahead and I'll give them something to do or an activity that's going to engage them. And I'd be quick, because you have to be quick.
Get in there.
And just give them something to do. Should it be a toy to play with, and get down to their level and just let the moment unfold. And you'll be surprised at the images that you do take. And that's it. And just let them have fun. The one thing I always said is the minute it stops being fun for my children, or the minute it stops being fun on a shoot, is the minute I'll stop photographing. Because the children have just had enough then, you know.
And you're not going to get the best
you're
then.
Not.
It's
you're
over.
Not. It's
Move
over.
on.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you want to capture those, like, genuine, authentic moments, you know.
And happiness, really.
And happiness.
Yeah. Those moments. It's been a wonderful moment and a joy talking to you today, Rashida. There's no limit to your creativity, obviously. What's next?
I am going to enjoy the family, raise them. I am taking things with the clothing one step at a time. I have no desire to scale that any bigger than it is at the minute. Maybe someday in the future. With the photography, I am going to concentrate on getting through this summer's wedding bookings. And after that, going forward, I'm going to dedicate a wee bit more time to the family photography, take on less of the weddings, but I still want to do them. The long days can be hard with the children. So that's it, to just keep going and keep creating and capturing those moments.
Now, I ask this question of all the guests. You've definitely touched on many things already throughout this, but the purpose of the podcast is to inspire existing business owners and ambitious entrepreneurs to grow their business by offering insight into the success of companies like yours. What would that nugget of advice be to people who may have an idea or a passion but have no idea where to begin, or they're unsure as to whether or not the risk is worth taking?
Okay. What I would say is just go for it. Follow your heart, which is exactly what I have done with both the photography and my clothing. I would rather try and fail than lived and not have tried. You know, and there's amazing places out there that you can get advice from, even Invest NI, or just speak to colleagues, or there's people out there that is going to offer advice and support, and just seek that advice and guidance. But for me, if you have that desire and you have that idea and that calling, I wouldn't sit on it. I would go for it. And so what if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if it works out, it can be something truly amazing.
Nothing worse than having regrets, so don't have regrets. Rashida, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me on the Public Eye podcast, and thank you to everyone who's been tuning in wherever you are. We'll be back with another episode very soon.
Thank you.
This podcast was recorded in Granite Podcast Studio. Interested in starting up your own podcast but don't know how? Granite Podcast Studio can help. Record your podcast in our state-of-the-art studio, which is based in the heart of Newry City. Our studio has cutting-edge and user-friendly technology and can seat up to 4 people. We also provide an editing service, where our team using your guidance and editing notes to provide you with a flawless finished product, leaving your listeners wanting more. For more information on how you can get started, visit www.granitepodcaststudio.com.